everyone.
Hi,
The crystals are here
the crystals are here
again.
again.
Yeah, so in our channel, we talk about family, faith,
Finance
finance,
and
and
fun.
fun. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about how we're going to have a beautiful wedding, how you have a beautiful and an amazing wedding without straining your budget. So, we're going to start from Mr. Christos.
Okay, so today is going to be very interactive. We'll just talk about practical things and how we also used some of those things for our wedding that helped us. So, but then I need to mention a couple of things. You see, why talk about this is very important because a lot of young folks out there have not yet come to know what's important really. Um, you see, we have stated how marriage is beyond fun, is beyond a day's activity. Why I'm saying this is because a lot of people don't really know what the difference between marriage and wedding is. So it has brought us to this level where people prepare more for weddings than
Than the
for
marriage.
marriage. So you see somebody, you see a lady. I'm not even trying to attack a gender here, but you see a lady from age 15. She has already pictured
A wedding gown.
her wedding gown,
A
her
bouquet.
bouquet, the decoration,
The card I'll take at
she.
church.
But marriage is beyond a day thing. As a matter of fact, wedding has nothing to do with determining how beautiful a marriage turns out to be. No matter how flamboyant or how ugly the wedding is not what determines. It's the mindset of the people involved, the parties involved, that ultimately determines the success of a wedding. So we are here to give you. We might not really talk about the aspect of how important you should. We're trying to say, okay, if you must hold a wedding, if you must have a wedding, and this is another part I need to mention that nobody gave a rule that you must do it the conventional way, because most times if you even ask people why they wed, like why the whole activities and the event around wedding, some people cannot even justify it for you. Okay, these are preconditionings we came and met. Nobody give any hard and fast rule. Okay, for instance, in Christianity, if you're a Christian, you realize that scripturally what actually um what actually establishes the home as a marriage, or rather what entails you being married, has nothing to do with the whole wedding thing. It's basically from the Old Testament to the New Testament. You will see that it's basically the place. Of course, the dowry concept is scriptural. It's basically, of course, you both agreeing that you're going to get married, having met your own conditions, then involving your parents agreeing, and then bringing a spiritual figure for blessing's sake. But scripturally, primarily, it's about your consent and blessings of your parents. Okay, and you are good to go. But of course, it's important you also involved a spiritual figure. So if you can do that, if that's all you need for your wedding, and you do that, you are good to go. If that will save you so much stress, save you money for to start your home, because I can't understand why somebody. We have practical examples. I've seen somebody spend millions in his wedding, and they didn't last up to 1 year in that marriage because of financial cost constraint. Why? Because his her parents got frustrated. She came out from a beautiful home, comfortable home, just for this guy to come and deceive her. They had the flamboyant wedding, and at the end of the day, he couldn't sustain the picture he gave her from the onset. So all of those money he came with were just fake. And at the end of the day, they were squatting in her parents' house, and she couldn't stand it. Their parents could not stand it, and she had to leave that marriage. So you can imagine. So we are here to talk about how, if you must hold a wedding, number one, it's not even compulsory that you must hold that wedding. But if you must hold that wedding, what are some of those things that you should prioritize? I've given you one already. Know that marriage is more important than the wedding. Marriage is for a lifetime, wedding is for a day. Okay? Marriage is where you are going to have your life around. Marriage is for you too. Wedding is mostly for people. It's not really for
Or
you too.
family members.
Or family members. In fact, I have funny stories. There were things my parents and people around me wanted me to do, but I had to tell them, see, I'm the one getting married. Anything that you would want to do is on your head. Okay. So let's get into the discussion. Let my wife talk about things you could do to help you, especially in the Nigerian context, but I'm sure it will be relevant to other people. Things you could do to help you cut down cost. Like what are the most important things really if you must hold a wedding? And then how to ensure you do it within the jurisdiction of your budget and nobody gets to cry after the wedding. So Mrs. Christos, ma'am.
Okay, so the first thing I know that you should do is to start planning early. Yeah, when you start planning early, you'll be able to have time to be able to do some negotiations, to be able to know, yeah, this place is better, and all of that. Be able to have time. You know, when you can take advantage of all these slash sales, 50% discount, and all of those promos that people are doing. But if you have just 3 months to plan for your wedding, and nobody is doing promo within that 3 months, you know that you have missed it. But when you start planning very early, like earlier than that, you'll be able to hit, maybe you'll be able to get your hair, especially the ladies, be able to get your hair, you'll be able to get all these bridal accessories in 50% discount, and it will be really awesome because yes, you looked all amazing, you look so beautiful, yet you spent little, so you don't have to strain your budget because you started early. Yeah, plan early.
That's
So
right. You see, if concerning planning, there's this common saying that when you fail to plan, you are planning to fail.
of course.
Everything, like it is said scripturally, I think it was Jesus that said is that who is it that will start building? I will not first of all count the cost to know if what he has will complete the building, right? Or who is it with an army of 5,000 will want to go and conquer somebody with an army of 20,000 without first of all sitting down to strategize and see if his army can. It's the same thing in wedding plan. When you're planning a wedding, it shouldn't be something that even you are surprised at the wedding. Okay, it shouldn't be something that will take you unawares. Plan it. Okay, plan it. What are the resources on ground? If you don't have the money, okay, how do you generate this money? What are you leveraging on? Okay, how do you get some things free? Like for us, we had, because of the plan we had, we discussed with people early because ours, we wanted a wedding really, and then we didn't, at the same time we didn't want it to be outside
The
our
budget.
budget and our income. So when we discussed with necessary people, suddenly we saw there was favor here and there. Of course, I'm not saying you should plan your wedding with somebody's pocket. Okay,
You'll be
you'll
disappointed.
be disappointed. We have so many disappointments, but at the same time, we had so much favor.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, my suit was over 50%. Like everything I wore was over 50% sponsored. Okay. Likewise, her wedding gown and her what do you call it now?
Reception.
Reception gown, the same thing. You know, food. When we heard, okay, it's all part of the planning, right? We contacted vendors and the kind of things we heard that was the amount for food alone. We had to re-strategize, and because we did it on time, that's a place of planning now. My family basically, since I'm the one getting married, I'm the one marrying her into my life. My family took so much charge of of course, I give money, but because family took charge of it, the cost came down way, way down, right? And everybody was happy. Nobody rejected the food. That was not nice. So imagine if I was saying, oh, I want it all classy, blah, blah, blah. I would have been the one explaining things to her by now. Okay.
Okay, so now the next one is choosing your wedding venue. Yeah, when you're choosing your wedding venue, actually, like gardens are actually lesser than all these halls and whatever. But when you sit down and count the cost, calculate the amount you're going to pay for rentals, the amount you're paying for decoration, amount for this. When you're able to join all of this together, you realize that it's even better to go and get an already made hall than saying you're going to go and book a garden, like you come and start all over again. You look for chairs, you pay for chairs, you pay for canopy, you pay for all of this. So it's part of the planning. You sit down and count the cost first and see which one is lesser. Don't say, oh, because these people are going for 50K, this guy is going for 50,000 naira, So I should go for it. My dear, when you ask of the amount for decoration, you sit down and reason it again and all of that. But actually, if you sit down and count the cost and you think, okay, my family members can handle decoration, then it's fine. You can actually go for it. Yeah. So that is when
And
you,
importantly, you see, when we say you can leverage on family members, when we say you can leverage on family members and maybe relations, it's not to say that you should go for a lesser standard.
yeah.
I remember a mentor once gave a story on how that till this he's regretting his wedding decoration because he trusted a family member and she gave him a hell of a decoration that he said he has to in his anniversary it will be like another wedding entirely so that he will cover up for that mess that happened that day. So when you have somebody offering to help with a service, maybe at a lesser amount or even for free, ensure you vet that they can deliver. Okay, even if I do it for free,
But you can see their previous work and you'll be able
exactly
to
vet
know
for
that
it.
this person can do this.
Don't go and give somebody something to handle for you that at the end of the day you will wish you had not even done it or you had gone for the expensive one. Is bad. You know, the idea around wedding is to have a memorable experience. So where's the memorable experience when everything everywhere is making you angry and making you disappointed? Okay. So and then another thing, let me just add this. Another thing she spoke about is the idea of that's why you need time ahead. I mean, you need quality time before the day, right? So that you compare vendors if we must use all vendors. Okay, for instance, for us, we did a garden wedding and we saw that okay, for all the halls we went for, the prices were not within our budget, and the garden the beautiful part for us is my best man is into events and planning, so he helped a lot in that area. And that's another part. Ensure you have people around you that will give you wise counsel, that have hands-on information and are skillful and they have expertise in some major areas that they will give you appropriate counsel. So that garden we had, they do everything. By that I mean they have the chairs, they do the decoration, practically everything. So it came those the services came at discounted rates. Okay, and that's because we had time and we compared with so many other options we have. But of course, if you have the money and you want to do whatever in a flamboyant way, the idea is do not go trying to impress people that are not even there to be impressed. They are not even looking at you. After a day, people are forgetting about your wedding. Okay, and then at the end you are straining your budget. But if you have the money, please do whatever you please.
Of course.
Uh,
Okay, so the next one now is go for a simple cake rather than the 10 steps cake and all of that, because I've seen a wedding that, you know how all these posts on Facebook, when somebody now said, do you know, in your next one will you marry your spouse again? And one lady said, God forbid. The lady that said God forbid, her cake, like her wedding cake, was like a castle. They built a
whoa,
castle. They did
whoa.
not, and she was saying God forbid. So I was like, okay, if your cake is like this and you don't like the wedding, so it has nothing to do with the kind of marriage you have. The wedding has nothing to do with your marriage.
Absolutely,
So what
absolutely.
you're supposed to do as a lady, as somebody that wants actually a flamboyant wedding, just go for a nice and simple cake. It is actually, it costs lesser and it's actually looking more mature than this whole design, everything, flower everywhere. I don't even like it. Like sometimes I see people's all these politicians, all these big wealthy men, if you see their kids, just white, like white, no decoration, looking more mature. But it's all these people that are trying to impress other people that wants to have a very big decoration and
With the
whatever.
rainbow colors all represented on the cake.
Okay, so that's that about the cake. And so the next point now is go to an open market rather than a bridal shop. When you go to a bridal shop, you will see AC, you will see lights, you will see what. So
Package
all these things that they are using to take care of
is
their
included
things,
in
yes, it's
your
included.
bills.
So I tell you the truth, when you go to the open market, you will see what you can get for this amount. You see it like almost double the price in the
If
bridal
not
shop.
more.
Because there was a time I went to get my wedding earring and I went to a bridal shop. I got it at a specific amount and The earring got missing, so I had to go and get another one. So I went to an open market. When I went there, the price the guy was calling for me, I was amazed. I was like, wait, is he aware of the real price, or is he selling me fake ones to me or something?
So we are sure you have gotten some helpful tips, right? The idea is know what matters, know what counts, and if you must do a wedding, you should settle it in your mind that you're not doing it for any other person. Because if you're doing it because you want to prove a point, like I always say, you will never have the best wedding. The day you are having the best wedding, the next day somebody will beat the record. In fact, the next hour. And in the record, do you know that the best wedding that was even in the Guinness Book of Records that happened in France, they are already divorced. We're not saying that to scare you, but the point is this to further prove to you that actually the best wedding doesn't guarantee a
Best
successful
marriage.
and best marriage. Okay, so these are just some tips to help you around the wedding preparation. Place priority on what matters. Know that number one, if you are doing your wedding to impress anybody, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy, it's a waste of mental energy. Okay, like a mentor will say, you should know that those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Okay, so um, put your energy where some people do not have not even paid rent, and they are, or rather, they don't own a house yet, and they are spending millions on wedding. For what? And some use wedding as a fundraising agenda. It will shock you if you are expecting maybe 50 million to be raised for you on your wedding. You might get 500K that day. I'm just trying to give you the I'm just trying to give you the extreme, but that's actually true. Don't plan your wedding in anybody's pocket, and then don't do any wedding to impress anybody. And then if you must have a wedding, you should know where to place your priorities. Okay, what really counts, and ensure to cut down cost. Use the Parkinson's principle to your advantage. Always put your expenditure for the wedding below. If it means just having yourselves, the couples, and your parents, or just a few persons, go ahead. Nobody cares. Okay, you will think you owe people explanation, but you don't. Okay, just whoever is saying, you didn't invite me for your wedding, blah blah blah. If they actually are interested in your wedding, they will send the gift they wish to have sent or whatever.
So what actually matter is the marriage, not the wedding. So
Exactly.
what you have in your mind, that wedding that you plan to do it in this space, and you're seeing that your budget is exceeding your budget, please try and cut it down.
Cut it
Cut
down.
it down. Yeah.
Hope you got some value and some tips that will help you from this video. Let's meet in the comment section. Of course, everything we said here is not the absolute, in the sense
Yeah.
that it's not the entirety of all you need. So put in the comment section your own tips, and for those of you that are married, what really helped you during your own wedding plans, so that those who are yet to get married, especially in the Nigerian context, that everybody's now afraid of the economy, they will pick up some tips. And even you that are single, I'm sure you must have had your plans already on how to cut down costs for your wedding. So let's meet in the comment section, okay? And we'll be there to chat with you.
Yeah. So remember to like, share, and comment too.
Exactly. Thank you.
And see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.